Chandler Smith goes down swinging, if you could really call that a swing. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Instant reaction. I warned y'all this would be a busy weekend. I just got done watching the Xfinity Series Round of 8 Elimination race at Martinsville Speedway, and much like last night's Truck Series event, this Xfinity race gave us much to talk about. Controversial bump and runs towards the end, tensions flaring on pit road, drivers, playoff contenders confronting one another. Tonight, it was once again Chandler Smith and Cole Custer, a replay in some ways of what went down on pit road at Kansas a few weeks ago. So these two have a history. Why were they so upset with each other tonight? Well, let's paint the picture. Closing laps of this race, Cole Custer is running second. Cole Custer's championship 4 scenario is simple. He gets in as long as someone below the cut line doesn't win, and as long as he doesn't crash out or something. Behind him, running in third position, is Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith's championship 4 scenario is also quite simple. He has to win this race. He seems to have a good car. He's running Cole Custer down for several laps. They race bumper to bumper. Occasionally Chandler might nudge him, shows him the nose. The leader, Eric Almirola, beginning to pull away after a few laps. Chandler Smith decides to bump Cole Custer up out of the groove, takes the second spot. Cole Custer slots right back in line there in third. Caution comes out, setting up a late race restart. Cole Custer was upset with how Chandler Smith raced him. I get it, especially after Kansas. Cole was upset with Chandler then. I don't agree with Cole's assessment that Chandler cost him a win at Kansas, but, he did race him aggressively. I get that Cole Custer's not the biggest Chandler Smith fan, and this little bump and run here late in a playoff race maybe was the last straw, the straw that broke the camel's back. So on the restart, Cole Custer lines up behind Chandler Smith. He gave up the bottom, the preferred lane, just to line up in Chandler Smith's rearview mirror, and turn 1, immediately following the restart, Cole Custer sends it in there, ships the 81 up the track. They both lose several positions. What goes around comes around. That's what Cole Custer said. That move effectively took Chandler Smith out of contention for the race win. It did give Sammy Smith, new character alert, Sammy Smith, another driver who had to win this race to make it to the championship 4. This move did give Sammy Smith some life. He almost ran down Eric Almirola for the race win, but ultimately, everything worked out in Cole Custer's favor. Neither Chandler nor Sammy Smith got the win, which means Cole Custer, the defending series champion, will advance to Phoenix with a shot to defend his series championship. But unsurprisingly, Chandler Smith was ready to confront him after the race. Chandler approached Cole Custer. They yelled at each other for a moment, waving hands around, and then get a little smack here, a little swipe from Chandler. He was talking a big game over the radio too. Yeah, I'm gonna beat his ass, right? But that was it. Come on, man. You can't talk up a big game on the radio and do that. Last week he said, "Oh, no craps will be given." Tonight he's saying, "I'm gonna get him." And come on, Chandler. It's like he shot a fadeaway jumper. He was already backtracking, retreating as he was swinging. Come on, man. Last night after the truck race, we talked about what is a fair bump and run move versus what is too far. Within the context of this race, I felt Cole Custer's move on the restart was kind of a cheap shot. I know Chandler bumped him the run previously, but he did race him cleanly for many laps. He was getting held up. When Chandler bumped Cole Custer, Custer only lost 1 position. It's not like the truck race last night where Christian Eckes knocked Taylor Gray so far out of the groove he lost 5 or 6 positions. No, it was 1 for 1. I thought Chandler Smith's move was about as fair of a bump and run as you can possibly execute. So for Cole Custer to not even race Chandler, to hunt him down on the restart and punt him instantly to preserve his playoff spot, yeah, that felt kind of like a cheap shot within the context of this race. But when you broaden the context to what happened at Kansas, these two have a history. I get it. I'm not too pressed about how this race played out. I wouldn't call this a joke. To me, this was closer to just typical short track tensions and tempers. What I do find hilarious is that All of this drama took place behind race winner Eric Almirola, one of the oldest drivers in the field, 40 years old. I believe the 20 team is still gunning for that owner's championship. He's got something to race for. He gets the win. Honestly, credit to Eric Almirola. I do want to give him a shout out, give him his credit. On that final restart with Sammy Smith and then Chandler Smith bearing down on him, Eric Almirola was under immense pressure. Two young, hungry, desperate drivers who need to win bearing down on him, and Eric Almirola didn't put a wheel wrong that entire run. Just hit his marks lap after lap after lap after lap. Sammy Smith couldn't get within half a second of the 20. Really impressive drive at the end of this race by the veteran Eric Almirola. The opposite can be said about Sheldon Creed, another playoff driver who had to win this race to advance to the championship for a speeding penalty late pinned him deep in the field. Hard to make up all that track position. He tried. Oh boy, did he ever. He took out a few cars in the process. Several over-aggressive mistakes made by Sheldon Creed in the closing laps. What a fun one, though. Drama for sure, some controversy maybe. We can continue to debate what's fair, what's foul. Should Chandler Smith get payback next week at Phoenix? If he bumps Cole Custer on a restart or something, that's fair in my opinion. If he goes out there and just junks the 0-0, obviously that would be taking things way too far. Things would have escalated way too much. That would be absurd. When it's all said and done, AJ Allmendinger, who won at Las Vegas, Austin Hill, who won at Homestead, and Justin Allgaier, Cole Custer will be the 4 championship drivers racing for an Xfinity title at Phoenix next week. This is an interesting group because other than Cole Custer, everyone else is chasing their first title. Justin Allgaier, he's been there, half a dozen times now, still without the big trophy? That's going to be a storyline. AJ Allmendinger, the vet, moving back to the Cup Series full-time next year, one final shot at the ultimate prize. I'm excited. The Xfinity Series Championship 4 is full of dramatic storylines heading into next weekend, and now just like the Truck Series, we've got some driver conflict, tensions brewing behind the scenes that could come into play 1 week from tonight. But that's all I've got. Martinsville doing Martinsville things. I will see you all tomorrow night. I'll have a full post-race recap of the Cup Series race, so I will see you then. Have a great rest of your Saturday night, folks. I'll talk to you again soon.